Not a test of the emergency broadcast system. I repeat, this is not a test. This is real. Let's get into it. Wow! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Festival. Big Mek here, and yes, we are having ourselves a bit of an emergency video. You see, today, the Dawn of War 4 cinematic trailer dropped, and it is, by every metric, a banger. Right now, everybody is focused on the news, spoiler alert, that there is a Primarch in it. It is the Lion. Lionel Johnson, the Dark Angels have come to Dawn of War 4, and for the first time ever in any video game, you can actually play as a Primarch. So everybody is focused on that. But of course, old Big Mek here is an Orc, so I focused on all the Orc units in the whole trailer. And I gotta tell you, we are absolutely getting previews of new units. This is no lie. This is no drill. This is not clickbait. 100% confirmed new units in this trailer. So let's get into it. All right, so the whole thing starts off with this rock coming through space that then launches boarding torpedoes toward the viewer, as seen right here. This would be really cool if Battlefleet Gothic were a game to see a new rock and new torpedoes, but that is not what we are on about. It's not even the cool explosion. Yeah, explosion. It's this. We start getting into orcs. Now, what you see here is a regular, good old-fashioned boy. In fact, this looks like one of the new monopose sculpt boys. But back here, you see there's a couple of guys with some boss pole looking things. And those double boss poles tell you one thing and one thing alone, and that is flash gits. However, these very much look like the old or current flash gits. That profile is very similar. We have the, again, the double boss pulls going on. Nothing new yet. And then we get this like cutscene shot from above where you see a bunch of units going on here. Once again, regular boys. They look like regular boys. You're a little far away to actually see much of anything. These guys right here are your flash kits. Again, there's the double boss pulls going on and the much bigger weapons. Now here's where it gets interesting. You think, well, they just look like regular flash kits. But if you look, they have these very large, chunky shoulder pads on them. Look at my flash kit. Do you see any large, chunky shoulder pads on him? No. So yeah, just some flash kits, some regular boys. Again, nothing new yet. Then we get to this knob guy here. And once again, he looks like a regular boy. No like current sculpt going on. He kind of has vibes of the commando knob, but he is not a commando. He's just a regular knob. Very cool looking dude, but you know, generic enough to kind of get away with it, even if it wasn't a new sculpt. But when you come forward a frame, notice he's got a power claw in one arm and a choppa in the other. This is not a normal loadout. This is something very new and different. So yeah, we're on to something already. Different loadout. This does not exist in Warhammer 40k on the tabletop, and yet here he is in CGI glory. Oh, but he is far from the most exciting. Here's where we see an actual new model. So first of all, you see the foot there. You orc players already know what this is. We're talking mega armor. Now, look at this absolute unit right here. I give you the new Warboss in mega armor. Now, how do I know this is a Warboss? Well, simple. Here is the current mega armor. And as you see, there's no giant chunky shoulder pad that goes over the top. What you have are these little shoulder pads that go around the bicep area with actual exposed top of the shoulder. And they are all like this. However, if you pick up the current Warboss in mega armor, hey, look at that shoulder pad right there. Looks awfully familiar. In fact, this model is almost a one-to-one for this guy's armor. However, you'll notice we only get the mega choppa. Power claw, baby. We are looking at a new Warboss in mega armor with a power claw. This is brand new. We don't have this. This is so cool. Once again, let's watch this guy all the way through. Here he comes, big old power claw. Pausing at exactly this frame, you will even see he still has the little roboticized gun up top that's fired by the grot on this guy. totally confirming that this dude is a Warboss and not some measly knob. So there you go. Brand spanking new character in Warhammer 40k. Confirmed. Now, this part gets interesting because we see for the first time ever in Dawn of War beast Snaggas, but look at this absolute unit of a beast Snagga. He almost looks like a beast boss. In fact, let's zoom in on him and really take a look. Here is the current beast boss. You can see he's got the big kind of nipple horn things going on, and he's got the claw and the choppa there, and then once again a little targeting squid with a gun. You see this guy, he's got the horns going on, right, and the kind of this big skull thing, but he's got nothing that we can see in this hand, and then this hand is a regular cleaver, but yeah, no gun, nothing else. So you're saying, oh, well, he's just a beast Snagga knob. Well, no, here's a beast Snagga knob. First of all, lots of bionics. Can't really tell what's going on with this guy. That arm might be bionic, and it looks like he might have a bionic jaw going on, but definitely doesn't match the current knob. The knob is even a little weedy compared to this unit of a guy. I think what we are looking at here is a beast Snagga knob. That's right, a beast Snagga knob. I mean, think about it. He doesn't have the accoutrements of the Warboss. You're missing the targeting squid, you're missing the weapon, you're missing the power claw, you're missing a lot of the ornamentation. He just kind of has the bare chest, but again, he is a unit compared to this boy. And so if it's in between a Warboss and a boy, it's got to be a knob. A couple frames further, get a little bit better look at that choppa, and definitely not the knob, because again, the knob either has this little power claw doodad or the patented beast Snagga chain axe. And if you look, there's no chain on this. That is a regular plain Jane cleaver. So I think you're looking at like a big choppa equivalent there on this beast Snagga knob. In this next bit of cutscene where there's the kind of fireball landing, I think this right here, what we're looking at, is the silhouette of a kill rig. All right, and here we go. Next, we've got a little mech here, some sort of mech boy looking guy, possibly a spanna, a regular boy, and then there is a Warboy. That is very clearly the current Warboy from the top of said kill rig. Then we cut to a beast boss on Squigosaur. This guy is brutal. Now I want you to look real close behind him. There's something hiding over here that I can't quite make out. That shape right there. It's red, it's kind of pointy, it's got like some sort of filigree or yellow or flames on the front of it. It looks like yellow flames to me. It's kind of reminiscent of like a Gorkanaut belly, but it's clearly not because it ends. That's like the nose to some sort of vehicle, very orcish. That is followed by another look at our beast Snagga knob looking guy here. This one's different. He's got the cleaver in the other hand. He looks even bigger than the other dude. And you'll see there's another Warboy here behind him, but this Warboy does not match the one on the kill rig. He's got a little bit different of a thing behind him and a slightly different looking head. Not real sure what's going on with him. There's also these things here in the background, but they're a little too muddled to kind of make out what they are, like potentially a Stormboy backpack or something facing away from us. But again, this guy is far more interesting. Again, he is not a beast boss. He's missing the power claw in this arm, and he is missing the targeting squig with the gun. They're not going to show a war boss or a beast boss missing that much war gear. I think we are looking at a knob. We then get a super nice close-up of him yelling "wah" at the camera. You can see all the shoulder shoulder armor there made of metal and whatnot. And you've got the skull on this side, whatever this random spine is across his back, plus the furs. Very much definitely a beast Snagga. But again, I do not believe this is a Warboss. He does not have the Warboss gear. Then we cut back to our new Warboss and Mega Armor, again with that Power Claw, which you can see in the scene right here. There is the Power Claw. And then it cuts to this further away shot. And again, this is our Warboss and Mega Armor, and you can see the outline of the little gun above him there and his boss bull, but no grot manning the gun on this guy. And once again, you can see the Power Claw in its full glory right there. Now this scene gets really interesting. We're actually going to watch this a couple of times. On our left here is that Warboss and Mega Armor. On the right is that beast Snagga that we think may be a knob. Now, watch what happens carefully. Did you see that? They were going at each other, not something else. They are like orcs attacking orcs. So let me go back all the way to the start of the beast boss. I mean, come on, I'm not imagining this, right? They show us the beast boss, and they show us the war boss, and they show us both yelling "wah" and then running at each other. Now, that was interesting because they did call them warlords, but again, this guy here does not have anywhere near the wargear of the beast boss. Now, there's another piece here that is very interesting. What's on the back here of the Warboss and Mega Armor? Yeah, you should know what that is. To back it up a little bit here so you can see it. Did you catch it? There we go. There's a really clear look at it. That is a shock jump generator, just like the back of the new Big Mek model, as seen right here. I mean, you can't get any clearer than that. It's obviously not a Big Mek that we're seeing here because it's missing the whole exoskeleton suit with the extra arms. And it doesn't have a mech pole. It's got 2 boss poles. So this is definitely a Warboss and Mega Armor with a Power Claw and a shock generator. Now, I don't know if it's a shock jump generator, which would be amazing and insane, or if it's a shock gun generator, or if it's like a shock force field generator. I'm going with shock jump though. And I had to work really hard to get this exact frame of the beast boss, and you can see that cleaver is way larger than the one that we saw earlier. So I'm not sure that this is the same guy that we saw earlier or a completely different guy, but that is definitely a different weapon. It is large by huge. In fact, if you watch him really close, it's 2-handed when he starts. Did you catch it? There you go. So he's got one hand on the hilt here, the other hand right here, and then he rotates it up and over. Right there. However, the still at the very end of the swing shows the same armor and shoulder armor. So I'm not sure if we're just not getting a great perspective on that cleaver, and maybe it is a beast boss, a secondary different kind of beast boss, or like I said, maybe it's like a boss knob. He's trying to battle the war boss for control of the warband. We're not sure, but he's definitely new. Then it cuts, through all the Necrons and the Mechanicus guys and the beakies and stuff. And then the next look we get at an orc is this guy right here. He's some sort of a knob. You can see the boss pole there in the back. But again, a little too generic looking. Can't really tell who or what he is. We're definitely looking at a bad moon. I know everything is colored red because of the light, but clearly you've got the black flames there on that shoulder pad. It matches what we saw on that war boss earlier. But he's very modern looking. I think we're probably just looking at new sculpt knobs here. Face only a squig could love. All right, we're back here with the flash kits again, and I misspoke earlier about the shoulder pads. I realized that there were an option in that kit to put the shoulder pads on in that way, so I think we're looking at still the same old flash kits there. I don't think there's anything new here. And that's it. There's our ending with the new artwork. However, I want to point out, look who that is. That is our new war boss in Mega Armor. And he's got this interesting giant exhaust pipe behind him and what appears to be a Death Dread here, although maybe a little differently put together than our current dreads, but very much those are the same Death Dread claws and face and whatnot going on him. But yeah, this is our Warboss and Mega Armor featured on the cover. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. New characters absolutely confirmed in the Dawn of War 4 trailer. There are 2 for absolute certain. 1, we are definitely getting a Warboss in Mega Armor with a Power Claw instead of that Mega Choppa, and some sort of shock jump generator on his back, probably for jumping, which is going to allow the Mega Knobs to, jump around the battlefield like Terminators do, or potentially like the new Big Mek does, which would just be absolutely insane to have your Mega Knobs be able to reposition on the board. The tactical implications on the tabletop of that are amazing, not to mention just the strength from the claw being able to finally take out things with high armor or high toughness. You know, that the Mega Chop I can't put out. That guy is absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait to get my grubby little hands on him. I might have to start converting one before then, because we might not see him for a while. The other one definitely confirmed is that Beast Snagga, Beast Boss, Beast Knob. We're not really sure what he is. We know he is a unit of an orc for sure, but he seems to be kind of oddly armed and armored with just that one either like cleaver or like really giant two-handed cleaver. Definitely bigger than all the current Beast Snagga boys, including the Knob. Potentially the same size as the Warboss, but again, missing a lot of stuff that the Beast Boss has. He doesn't have the claw, and he doesn't have the targeting squig with the gun on top, which again, that Warboss with Mega Armor we saw still had the little turret-mounted weapon on top, even though there was no grot to fire it. So very interesting that they would choose to keep that shooting wargear on the Warboss, but not on the Beast Boss, which again leads me to believe I think we might be looking at some sort of Beast Boss knob or something of that effect. We also saw a couple of knobs that looked a little polished, a little nicer, a little more put together than all of our current ones. So I think definitely going more toward the more modern aesthetic, what we've seen with the Push Fit Boys, the Commandos, and now the Rekka Crew. I think we're going to see that, you know, move across the range as we get the more dynamic looking orcs, the more modern looking faces, for better or for worse. I kind of prefer the old faces, but you know, us old graybeards can't have everything our way. I'm just happy to get new orcs. But there you have it. Absolutely confirmed. No conspiracy, no clickbait. You saw it with your own two eyes. You can go watch the Dawn of War trailer yourself and click pause a million times and look at it frame by frame and see the brand new orcs. So that's what I got for you. Anyways, I'm old Big Mek. This is the Red Ones Go Fast. If you haven't watched me before, I highly suggest you check out some of our other videos. We do all sorts of kit bashing and amazing fun stuff, especially with orcs, although we do cover everything Warhammer 40k, because I got a lot of armies around here. That's what us orcs do. We loot things. And if you really like what you saw, consider, you know, liking, subscribing, coming over to our Discord server, which is totally free, link down in the description below, or buying some merch at our merch store, available at theredonesgofaster.com, so that you can have the same drip I do when you have your next game. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Appreciate all of you. I'm going to go back to staring at this new Warboss and salivating over the idea of finally getting Warboss and Mega Armor with a Power Claw back in my own Power Claw. All right, then. Till next time. Wargear!